Hi guys, very good afternoon. My name is Shaz Faruqi and I will be your PM tutor for this marathon session. Okay, but before I start, I want to know how many of you have already prepared for your PM exam, you've completed the syllabus, everything is done. Can you just let me know? Quickly just type it in the chat box. It is pending for you. So, is everybody able to hear me? Just let me know in the chat box if you're all able to hear me. Quickly. Okay, how many of you have done self-study? I want to know. Completely you studied on your own. Fully you did things on your own. Oh God, self-attempt. Second attempt. Okay. Anyway, the objective of this marathon is to run you through the syllabus fast. Okay. So I'm going to share my textbook and I'm going to briefly introduce you to myself and then I will get started. So again, my name is Shaz Faruqi. Okay, this is my contact number. Whoever wants to reach out to me, whoever has any questions, can reach out to me on this number. I am there on this number on WhatsApp. Okay, and whoever wants to connect with me over LinkedIn to stay connected for a long time can connect with me on LinkedIn by searching me on this name or this profile. Okay, I am the co-founder of FinChartered Academy, and the objective of this marathon is to again give you a quick run through of the syllabus so that if there are any topics that are weak, any topics that are not, you find challenging, we will do that. Right? I had a batch where we had done the syllabus of late and a few recordings we've uploaded this, I think yesterday, day before yesterday, we've shared. And I'm going to quickly run you through, all right? And the first thing, which according to me is very, very important, is activity-based costing. Okay, I'll look at those things that are awfully important, awfully essential, and a few little bits of theory as well. Okay, now what is activity, which I used and normally use in my classes? The analogy is, again, let's just assume that this is a room which you have rented. The rent of this room is 10,000 rupees, and four people are staying in this room. If four people are staying in the room, then per head rent will be 10,000 is the total rent. Four people are staying in the room, so the rent per head will be 2,500 per head. So the rent per head will be 2,500. Correct? 10,000 divided by four people. So this is a person. This what I've drawn here is a person. Right? This sounds fair to everybody, correct? However, now let me change the story slightly. Little bit I will change the story. I'll not change the story much. Just a little bit I'm changing the story. And the story changes like this. Assume it's the same room. The rent of the room is, but even now there are 4 people staying, but the first person occupies this much space. The second person occupies this much space. The third person occupies this much space. And the fourth person occupies this much space. Now, assume you are the fourth person. Would you be happy to split the rent equally? Can you all tell me, if you are the fourth person who I have circled in red, would you be happy to pay this equal rent of 2,500 per head? Fast types, please. It should be like fastest finger first. Would you be happy? Quick, 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 quick. Definitely not. Correct? You will not be happy because this is definitely not fair. What you will say is, I will pay the rent depending on my activity level. For example, you will say, if the area of the room is 1000 square feet, then what will you say? If the area of the room is 1000 square feet, the rent per feet is how much? The rent is 10,000. The rent is 10,000. So for 1 square feet, how much will the rent be? The total rent is 10,000 rupees. Area of the room is 1000 square feet. So you will say, okay, in that case, the rent per square feet is 10 rupees. 10,000 divided by 1000. The rent per square feet is 10 rupees. So you will say, I will pay the rent based on my activity level. I will bear the cost based on my activity. What do I mean by this? Okay, person A, as you can see, is occupying majority of the space. Person A is occupying 700 square feet out of 1000. Person E is occupying 200 square feet. Person C is occupying 80 square feet. And person D is occupying, that is you are the last person, fourth person, is occupying 20 square feet. So what you are saying is, my area used, the area that I am using, it's 20 square feet. So I will only pay based on my activity. Where you are saying, I'm removing these drawings, where you tell that the rent per square feet is 10, because the total rent is 10,000. The area of the rent is 1,000. Okay. So the rent per square feet is 10. If the rent per square feet is 10, I am occupying only 20 square feet. 20 into 10, I pay only 200 rupees. Person C is occupying 80 square feet. Immediately person C will say, oh, okay, I will also pay per square feet. So person C will say, I'm occupying 80 square feet. Rent is 10 per square feet. So 80 into 10, 800 rupees. Similarly, person B is occupying 200 square feet. The rent per square feet is 10. So person B will pay 2,000. And similarly, person A is occupying 700 square feet. Rent per square feet is 700 into 10 is 7,000 square feet. So as you can see, this rent has been split not equally. This rent of 10,000 has not been split equally. It has been split fairly between A, B, C, and D. This type of costing, where you incur or bear the cost based on the activity, is activity-based costing. Okay. This type of cost, where you bear the cost based on your activity, is activity-based costing. Now I'm going to circle 2 things. First circle is in blue, which is normal. 10,000 is the rent. 4 people are staying. So each person is paying 2,500. The second thing I'm going to circle is what we did based on activity-based costing. Based on our usage, based on our activity, we will pay rent. Which circle is more fair? Blue circle or red circle? Which one is more fair? Blue or red? Therefore, believe it or not, activity-based costing as a topic is over. If you have understood this, activity-based costing is done. Khalas. You don't need to spend more time on activity-based costing. All right. Even if you do one sum in activity-based costing, things are done. When I get to that sum, I will solve that sum. Okay, so activity-based costing is where you split the cost based on the activity. It is the more fair way of splitting the cost. Okay, now again in PM is 50-50, 50% theory, 50% numbers. When people ignore theory, Mohammed Sinan feels questions are really hard. We will practice the questions. Okay, when people ignore theory, they fail the exam pathetically. Okay, now I'm going to do something easier because my way of teaching is that if I explain something generally which people don't understand, I then do something easy. Then once I do something easy, I go back and do something hard. Right? Del, don't worry, I will use some question-based examples also. Okay, so let's move on to what? Again, if there is anything which you want me to explain, just stop me. I'm just going to take some hard topics and I'm going to explain that in this marathon. But in general, if you want me to explain any concept, if you want me to explain any theory while I forward and run through, you can definitely let me know. Now, again, a lot of people ask what are the qualities of good information? Now, this you can remember it by the acronym ACCURATE. Okay, and I'm going to complete this in the next 5 minutes. And I gave the same examples in my class as well while I was teaching the live batch. I gave the exact same examples. And here also I will give the same examples. Okay. First, I wanted to meet somebody. Okay. So when I wanted to go to their office, they told me that my office is under a tree. This is literally what they told me. When I asked them, where is the office? They said it's under a tree. Then I got a little confused and I asked, sir, can you share your location with me on WhatsApp? So he shared his location with me on WhatsApp. His location. In which scenario can I reach his office? There is no doubt that it is in the second scenario that I can reach his office. Because imagine if you tell me that my office is under a tree, how many trees I should go under and look for his office? So remember, information is good only when it is precise. Information is good when it's precise. Precise means what? To the point, meaning it has to be accurate. That is, it has to be to the point, it has to be precise. If somebody asks you, where are you? Don't say I'm standing under a tree. Say I'm exactly in front of this place. Okay, that is what accurate is. Then if again, I stop the class now, right now, if I close the class, nobody will be happy because I have not completed the marathon, right? So information is good only when it is complete. Third, information is good when it is cost effective. What do I mean by cost effective? Cost effective means whenever you are gathering information, information has a cost. You have to pay for information. Information, you don't get it for free. You have to pay for getting information. Correct? Maybe the cost of the information is 5 rupees. Then the benefit of the information, suppose, is 8 rupees. This information is good because the benefit is more than the cost. Information 1 is good. But think about information 2. The cost of the information is 5 rupees, but the benefit is 2 rupees or benefit is 3 rupees. Think about it. Cost is more, benefit is less. It is not good information because the benefit is less. So information is good only when it is cost effective. Another 2 minutes, I'll complete this and we look at an example of test your understanding. Sorry, we look at an example of ABC. Fourth quality of good information is good information. Again, if I start suddenly teaching in Chinese, nobody will be happy. Why? Because you cannot understand. Good information is always understandable. If will you be happy if I teach in Chinese? No. Why? Because you cannot understand. Information is good only when you can understand it. And if I suddenly start teaching FR in this class, if I start teaching FR now, will you be happy? I close PM, I start teaching FR. Nobody will be happy. Why? Because it is not relevant to you. It is not related to you. So information is good when it is relevant. Okay. Another quality of good information is that it is adaptable. What do I mean by adaptable? It should suit the needs of different people. For example, if anybody attends any of my actual class, if anybody attends any of my actual class, I will explain in more detail. If anyone has attended my actual class, they'll agree that for every topic, I give you at least 2, 3 examples. But because this is a marathon and because everybody has completed the syllabus, I'm going faster, honestly speaking. So information should not be the same for everyone. It needs to be adaptable to the needs of its users. One example is if I am teaching college students, I will go slow. But if I'm teaching university professors, I'll go faster because they don't need such a slow speed. They want me to go faster. Why? Because they already know a lot of things. So information is good only when it is adaptable. And that's why I'm trying to go fast in this class in the first place. Because I need to adapt the information that I give to your needs. Seventh is timely. Your exam is on June 3rd, if I'm not wrong. Correct? 3rd of June, in the next 10 days or so. So if I teach you, if suppose I keep the marathon on 9th of June, nobody will attend because it is no longer needed. Time is over. So information is good only when it is timely. If suppose your chair is weak, you are sitting on a chair and that chair is weak, I should tell you before you fall, not after you fall. After you fall, that information is useless to you. And finally, information is good only when it is easy to use. It's like using a mobile. A mobile is good only when the mobile is easy to use, not when it is complex. You need some kind of complex information and formulas to use the mobile, then that mobile is not good. Similarly, information is good when it is easy to use. If you recollect these points, again, I've used some layman simple examples to explain all of these points. And this acronym, accurate, stands for the qualities of good information. Accurate. Okay. ACCURATE. Let us move on ahead. Again, if you want me to stop anywhere, please let me know. I hope you are all comfortable with strategic, tactical, operational level of management. If anybody wants me to explain this, I can explain, not an issue. Okay. Is everybody comfortable and clear with the 5 V's? You want that triangle? Okay. Muhammad Yusuf wants the triangle. So I'll quickly acknowledge wisdom. This one, right? Muhammad Yusuf wants data information. You want the difference between data and information? 5 V's. Okay. Not the pyramid, sir. So just tell me what is it. I will just type it properly and I will go to that topic. 5 V's. Big data analytics. Okay, all I will do. All right. So first of all, big data analytics and 5 V's are all connected. So I will do it together. So first and foremost, big data pyramid. 5 V's. So first and foremost, big data is what? Big data, as the name suggests, is data that is in huge volumes. It's big, unimaginable amounts of data. Now, when will you say some data is big data? Is number one, when there is huge quantity of that data. You understand? When quantity of the data, when the size of the data is big. Okay, for example, when you go on social media, there is data about so many people. So the size is big. That is known as volume. Voluminous. Voluminous means the size is big. The data is big in terms of size. The data is big in terms of size, quantity. Okay, that is volume. Then comes, again, for the example for number one is when you go to social media, you will find the profiles of billions of people. Big data, quantity is big. Then comes velocity. Velocity is speed. The speed at which new data is generated is massive, is fast. For example, social media again. You go to social media, data will be generated fast. Every millisecond, there will be new data coming in. That is big data. Data is now streaming from sources such as social media sites at a virtually constant rate, meaning it's so fast, so fast, so fast. Velocity means what? I don't know how many of you studied physics, but velocity means speed. So data is big in terms of velocity when the data is coming at a high speed. It's coming fast. It's coming every millisecond, more and more data is coming. That is data which is big in terms of velocity. Then comes variety. Variety means what? Variety means data is big in terms of, like, there is different types of data. What I mean by that is, again, if you are on social media, you see, you will find the data of people's names, but also you will find their photographs. But also you will find their posts, their videos. But at the same time, you will find information about where they are. So variety is, there is different types of data. There is audio, there is video, there is written text, there is information about so many things. There is such different types of data. So data is big in terms of variety, where there is different types of data. This is variety. Variety means, again, when you go to a restaurant, when you say there is variety of food, you will say there is variety of food when there is different types of data, food. There is Italian food, there is Indian food, there is Chinese food, there is Arabic food. That is variety. So variety is when you have different types of data. Then comes veracity and value. Veracity basically means, again, in terms of the genuineness. Okay, the data is big. So veracity is, okay, the data is big in terms of accuracy. That is veracity. Veracity is what? Data is big in terms of quality. Let's move on further. Again, guys, I will complete this in the next 2 minutes and move ahead. So again, what have I done? Volume is the amount of data. Velocity is the speed of data. Variety is where you have different types of data. Veracity is where the data is correct. It is trustworthy. I'm just putting it again and again. Volume is size. Velocity is speed. Variety is different types of data. And veracity is the accuracy of the data. And then comes value. Value of data means how useful is the data. Big data is very useful. Okay, value is the usefulness of the data. So when all these things are there, you say you have big data, right? So I hope big data, 5 V's. Who asked me the 5 V's? Ulowad. Okay, Sobanjo. Sobanjo, is this clear? Perfect, no problems. Very good, Hasham, I'm happy. Explain structured and unstructured data. Okay, so remember, these are, frankly speaking, these are topics that I'm sure you will agree are very basic. But again, if you have been doing self-study, I will quickly run you through the structured and unstructured data. Okay, what is structured and unstructured data? Think about it. The name structured and unstructured itself will be able to explain to you what. Again, guys, please make sure you are on mute. Otherwise, I will have to take the effort of individually muting. So look, structured data is basically when data is properly organized and easy to search. Okay, data is organized and easy to search. Where, number one, the data is stored in tables, rows, columns. Unstructured data is data that is messy and not organized. Okay, so if you look at structured data could be a file where we have the names of all our students with their info. That is structured. Everything is in order, everything is organized. That is structured data. Unstructured data could be on my table. I have so many books lying around like this randomly. Some are PM books, some are CMA books, some are CFA books. So I've been teaching almost from the past 10 years now. And I have like all these, I've been teaching all these courses. So I have all these books, which is not in a specific order. It's not organized. That data is unstructured data. Okay. For example, structured data is data that could be maybe in an Excel sheet, a spreadsheet. Okay, so I have the names of all the students. Everything is there. Now, again, I will give you a small analogy to understand this. Whoever asks me structured, unstructured, please look at this carefully. I'll just take 1 minute. I have to take something. Let me take. This. You see, everything is kept properly according to the color. It is kept in rows. This is structured data. Okay. Unstructured data is where the books are scattered on table. All unstructured. Random books are lying around here and there. This is unstructured data. Okay, random, just random. This is just, everything is randomly lying around. This is unstructured. So I hope structured and unstructured person, you are clear and comfortable with what it is. Can you just give me a thumbs up or let me know in the chat box that you are clear? Quickly. So Portia is perfect. Okay. Anybody, anything else? Now, I'm just going through the chat box. Are you talking about professional skepticism, Hasham? Which page is it on? Are you referring to the Kaplan material? Page 73. You're talking about this, right? I think your name is Muhammad Yusuf. You're talking about this pyramid, correct? That big data pyramid. I'll just come back to this shortly. Okay. So page number 73. Is this the page you're referring to, Hasham? It is important to remember that data analytics cannot be relied upon to predict the future. Business managers should therefore be skeptical and recognize the limitations of blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read that because I hate to read and explain anything. Okay, let me tell you something. Uh, okay, let me quickly, very, very quickly, tell you a fact. Okay. I gave this example in my AA's class, okay? Uh, the Great Wall of China is visible from the moon. You know this? Hasham, you know this? Do you know this, Hasham? Yes. Do you believe me? You believe me? Yes. This is the problem. You should not believe everything you are told. Change this attitude right now. Especially you're becoming, at least you can get into audit, right? So you need to make sure that everything you see, everything you hear, everything you are told about, you need to have a questioning mind. Like when I told you that the Great Wall of China is visible from the moon, you should have asked, how is that possible? Moon is so far away. Is it even possible to see something from the moon? You should have asked questions. You need to have a questioning mind. That is what professional skepticism means. Professional skepticism, I hate spelling. If you have to give me ratings for spellings, you can give me 0. But professional skepticism is what? It is basically where you need to have a questioning mind. So Hasham, going back to data, getting more clear, not getting more clear, Hasham. Unfortunately, in my class, you should sit only if you have gotten clear. Getting more clear means I'll explain again. If you don't want that, you have to tell me that you are clear. Otherwise, I will give you more examples and I will bother you more. Is it clear? Or let me complete this, okay? So skepticism means that when you use data analytics, you cannot just rely on that blindly. You cannot rely on it with absolute assurance. You cannot rely on that with absolute certainty. You need to have your own skepticism. You need to have your own questioning mind. Don't rely on some report. Don't rely on some analytics just blindly. That is what professional skepticism means. So, Hasham, I hope with this example of the moon and this practical experience, you have now understood what skepticism means. And this just like an auditor. Yes, you are right. Have you done the audit and assurance paper in past? Not yet. Okay. So audit is a very, very, very interesting paper. Anyway, now coming back to the big data pyramid. Pyramid. Okay. Who asked me this question? Let me go back to their name. It is Muhammad Yusuf. Muhammad Yusuf says that this question was asked 2 times in the previous exams. So this is not something we are wasting time on, guys, and this is not something that we are doing time pass with. This is an important topic. This is an important concept altogether. Okay, so here we have a few things. You have data, you have information, you have knowledge, and you have wisdom. First and foremost, let's close PM. I will teach you how to make biryani. Forget ACCA, forget PM. Let's write the exam later. Okay, no need to write the exam. I'm going to teach you how to make biryani. In scenario 1, you call me and I tell you, take tomato, take onion, take salt, take rice, take chicken, with all due respect to the vegetarian people. Take, I don't know, what else do you put? Whatever, take these ingredients. Okay. And then exactly at that time, I cut the call. Okay, Mohammed Sinan, yes, we can do that as well. I am with you in this. So I tell you this much and I cut the call. Right? Do you think, who is this? Who asked me this? Muhammad Yusuf. Do you think you can make, can you make the biryani? No. So what will you do? You will call me again. You call me again. And now I tell you step by step. So where do you think you can make the biryani? In scenario 1 or in scenario 2? Scenario 2. Why? Is because scenario 1, I have just given you some raw facts. They are not useful directly. These are raw facts that are not useful directly. In scenario 2, what did I do? I refined and processed the raw facts. And now these refined and processed raw facts are useful to you, right? So in scenario 1, it was just raw facts. They are not directly useful to you. Versus in scenario 2, I refined and processed the raw facts, and now these raw facts are useful to you. Scenario 1, where we have raw facts and they are not useful to you directly, that is known as data. Data is just raw facts which is not directly useful for decision making. Versus information, what is information? Information is data. Once it's refined and processed and now it becomes useful for decision making, that, guys, is information. Okay, so I think Mohammed Yusuf, we have data and information. Data is a collection of facts. It's just raw facts that is not directly useful for decision making. Information is when the facts or the raw facts are put in context, when the raw facts are refined, when the raw facts are processed further, that is information. So I hope Mohammed Yusuf is clear on this completely. Moving on to knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is when, see, information is what? Information is when the raw facts is now processed and refined. But knowledge is where you understand patterns. You understand the meaning of information. That is knowledge. So knowledge is where you are given some information and you understand that information. You know the information. You are able to understand the patterns of that information. You get some insights. Insights as in you get an understanding. You know what the information is saying. That is knowledge. You understand. So information is just the raw facts that are processed. When that information is used, when that information gives you some kind of, how do I put it? When that kind of information helps you understand patterns and you know the meaning, that is knowledge. So the difference between knowledge and information is, if I just refine and process some facts and tell you in class, that is information. But when it comes to knowledge, knowledge is where you understand that information. That is knowledge. So by the end of this marathon, Muhammad Yusuf, you should go out with knowledge, not with information. So all four are clear, Muhammad Yusuf. So again, guys, this is something that has been coming in the exams. Finally comes wisdom. Wisdom is, what is wisdom? You see this again? Wisdom is once you have been given knowledge, once you understand the information, you should be in a position to use that knowledge to make decisions. That is wisdom. Wisdom is you should be in a position to use knowledge to make decisions. That is wisdom. So just having knowledge is not enough. If I tell you, okay, Muhammad Yusuf, you need to make sure that you need to complete your ACCA as fast as possible, and also You need to make sure that you get practical experience. You've understood this. But now you need to be able to use what I tell you to make a decision. Okay, after my PM exam, I will take up a job. That is wisdom. So the question to you, Muhammad Yusuf, is which of these four do you want? Data, information, knowledge, or wisdom? Which of these four do you want, Muhammad Yusuf? All four. All four you want. Okay? You want all four because only if you have data, you will get information. Only if you have information, you will extract knowledge. Only if you have knowledge, you will be able to take out wisdom out of it. Okay, so I hope everybody is clear. I hope everybody is absolutely comfortable and nobody has any problems with this at all. Everyone clear? Quickly type in the chat box, please. Perfect. I hope your understanding is better than before attending this marathon, and I hope it is improving slowly. Now, again, coming to ABC, I promised you that we will do ABC questions. And the problem is textbook. Look at this step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't need this. Just let's directly go to the question. And believe it or not, if you are not able to do this, it is a problem. Now I've explained to you what ABC is. Believe it or not, you will be able to do it. Saturn, a chocolate manufacturer, produces 3 products: Skybar, Moon Egg, Sunbar. Now I feel like ordering chocolate. So maybe when I give you a break, I can do that. I don't know why they put these examples in the textbook. Okay. So Skybar, Moon Egg, Sunbar. Now all this is there, information is there. I don't want the information. You see, the overhead cost is 80,000 rupees. But what is it that we need to look at is this. Out of this 80,000, the first expense is 5,000. Third one is setup cost. Look at setup cost, it's 30,000. All of you have to listen carefully, okay? Setup cost is 30,000 and I'll only explain setup cost. Everything else you'll be able to do given that this is a marathon. Setup cost is 30,000. Just like how in my example, rent was 10,000. I want you to compare because my example is literally, it completed entire ABC. In my example, there was something that was driving the cost. When will you get more rent? When the area is more, when the square feet is more. So in my example, the cost driver was the number of the square feet. I told you the square feet is 1,000 square feet. In this example, in the setup cost example, the driver is number of setups. You see, number of production setups is 3,126. 3,126. 30 setups. 26 plus 1 plus 3. Where is it? Yes. So 3,126. So the number of setups are 30. Very good, Hisham. Thanks. Number of setups. I'm so engrossed in making sure that we move fast that I didn't even realize that it's just 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1 plus 26, 30. Number of setups, 30. So what did I do in my example? I said, if the rent is 10,000 and the square feet is 1,000, the rent per square feet is 10,000 divided by 1,000 is 10 rupees. Same way, if the setup cost is 30 for 30 setups, the cost per setup will be 30,000 divided by 30, which is 1,000. Same way, I got the cost per square feet. It's literally the same example. I had got 10. I'm just asking you to compare because it's the same thing exact. Now, if the cost per setup is 1,000, As per the question, Skybar is doing 3 setups. So Skybar's cost will be 3 into 1000, which is 3000. Very good. Moon egg is 1 setup. The cost of each setup is 1000. So 1000 into 1, 1000. Sunbar is doing 26 setups. The cost per setup is 1000. So Sunbar will pay 26,000. Therefore, this total cost of 36,000 has been fairly allocated between Sunbar, Moon Egg, and Skybar. This is activity-based costing. It is as simple as this. People spend hours and hours and hours teaching and learning both. ABC. Oh, ABC, they look at ABC like it's some very big concept. But again, it is as simple as A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It is as simple as alphabets. So if your understanding is strong, it's all good. Just have a look. Give me 1 minute.
It's 5 o'clock.
ABC used to be hot topic. Now is it hot, Mohammed Yusuf, or it has become frozen? I hope it has frozen. No longer hot, frozen. Very good. Perfect. That's it. That's it. Now you don't need to worry about anything. End of story. Guys, again, I have been teaching from about 10 years. We've got ranks, all of this. So please don't worry. You are in very safe hands. Again, if you want me to stop somewhere, let me know. Now, a lot of people also worry and panic about throughput accounting. Oh, okay. Total quality management. Where is it over here? What is total quality management? Think about it. As the name itself suggests, total quality management. It means that right from day one, I am assuming and I am understanding that we are always going to be improving the quality, improvising the quality. I'm going to continuously improve my products, continuously improve my services so that my customers are happy, so that my students are happy. I have never reached my fullest potential. That is what TQM is. ABC, some we did. Now we are looking at TQM. TQM is where I have never reached my fullest potential. In June, September sitting when I teach, I will teach better. December sitting when I teach, I will teach even better quality also, faster also. So TQM is a general name given to a management technique which seeks to ensure that goods are produced and services supplied of the highest quality. It origins lie primarily in Japanese, blah, 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 blah. Key features include we need to improve the quality consistently. We need to always ensure that there is always room for growth. Yes, it is like an ideal standard, and we're always believing that we will keep getting better and better. And before any mistakes are made, we will prevent those mistakes. We will not sit and wait. Everybody is very serious. Everybody is very sincere to improvise on the quality. That's why in FinChartered Academy, believe it or not, but after every class, I take a feedback after every single class. And it's not like a feedback form because a lot of you don't fill that. But it's again, when we give you feedback forms, it is for us to know if we can improvise anywhere. So today also we'll give a feedback form. You fill that up, share your feedback. But every class, I ask the students their rating out of 5. And if they say 4.9, I help them in making it 5. Why? Because we need to improve. Quality needs to keep going up, up, and only up. This is what TQM is. This is what total quality management is. All right. Now I'm going to move to, again, let me know, guys, where you want me to stop, where you want me to help. Is there any specific area where you want me to help? Again, only two people are asking, Yusuf and Hasham. Everybody is free. You have all the right to ask me to do certain topic while I run through the textbook. Again, Hisham, just let me know the page number so that I can go there. Meanwhile, others, please do not hesitate. If there is any specific topic, you see, I'm scrolling through the textbook. So if there is any specific topic, let me know and I will explain that topic. Like if you have a problem with multi-product decision making, don't hesitate to ask. Everybody is comfortable with multi-product decision making. Nobody has a problem. Everyone will be able to do test your understanding 4. We will do question practice. Yes, we will do question practice in the exam. So everybody is comfortable with this. Okay, so I will move. If you tell me you have a problem, I will stop. Okay. Target costing, everybody is clear, I hope. If again, I'm telling you, if you want me to stop somewhere, I will stop. Relevant costing, Namir, we will come to that. Problems with target costing in service industry. This is a topic which has been asked many times. Everybody comfortable with the problems of with target costing, general problem of service industry. All of you know this. Again, I'm not meaning, I don't mean you know the names of the points. I'm saying understanding wise, all of you know this. All of you understand this. Explain once. Okay, I'll explain this. Please explain. I don't have understanding of input and output analysis question in kit. Kit is for tomorrow. We will do the exam kit tomorrow. Okay, so I will explain because there are two people who are asking me to explain this. I will explain this. Problems of the service industry. Service industry features, you can take this as. And I generally like to explain this with a little bit of humor. But you can remember these points as Whipney. I like to call it Whipney. Where each word, each letter stands for a quality. The first word is variability. See, in a manufacturing industry, okay, I'm just going to stop my screen for a second. Oh God, from yesterday's marathon, the present value table is open. How many of you finished FM? Failed FM, array. Okay. Guys, take down my number. Next sitting should be the at least national rank holder. Okay, I don't want to hear. Oh, very good, Chris. Happy for you. Okay. So there is a sofa. Okay. We are in home center. We're in some furniture shop. I ask for this sofa. Hasham asks for this sofa. Muhammad Yusuf asks for the sofa. And Chris asks for the sofa. All of us will get the exact same sofa. So in a manufacturing business, in a manufacturing industry, if we ask for a specific sofa, everybody will get the same sofa. But when you talk about a service industry, for example, you go to a salon. Okay. Here you go and ask for a haircut. Okay. Here you go and ask for a haircut. I just prefer using all these things in class. Suppose both these guys go for a haircut, exact same service both of them are asking for. Both of them are asking for haircut. But the service industry itself, the nature of this industry is the type of haircut this guy will get and the type of haircut this guy will get. Will it be the same? Will they get the same service? No. So in a manufacturing business, if both these guys, this guy and this guy, both of them go and ask for the same sofa, they will get the exact same sofa. Of course, the unit will be different, but the sofa, the product will be the same. But in a service business, when this guy goes for a haircut versus this guy goes for a haircut, they will get a different service altogether, right? So when it comes to service industry, there is variability. Variability means that every service will be different. Same goes with me. If you come to me for your first attempt, I will teach in a different way. But if you come to me for a marathon, it will be different. If you come to me as a college pass out, it will be different. If you come to me as a grade 10 pass student, it will be different. So that is the speciality of the service industry. It is variable. The service provided itself is different for various people. And that has been elaborated in the textbook by the topic of heterogeneity. Hetero means different. Homo means same. Hetero means different. So the quality and consistency varies. Same way, again, sometimes like today I'm not well. Okay. No, I won't say lack of consistency, Harsham. But today, for example, I'm not well. I feel a little feverish. I have like headache. I woke up early today. Today I'm not well. So maybe today you may feel that my quality is not as good as other days. Right? Today because I'm not well. So it's again, it's a service, correct? And service you cannot expect it to be the same. Again, yes, consistency. The same level you cannot expect it throughout. It also depends on the person providing the service, their health, their situation, their condition, everything, your condition. So service is variable. Second is I. I stands for inseparability, also known as simultaneously in the textbook. See, inseparability or simultaneous. So what is inseparable? See, guys, look at a manufacturing business. For example, I manufacture a sofa. Is it true that I am making the sofa and same time you are sleeping on that sofa? Does that happen? I'm making it and at the same time you are sleeping on that sofa. Does that happen? No. Everybody has to answer. Everybody has to respond. This will never happen. Correct? First, I make the sofa, then you will sleep. Then you will consume it. This is with respect to manufacturing industry. Suppose I manufacture and make some food item. Suppose I make some fruit juice. Or suppose I make even tea. Is it like I'm making the tea is on the vessel, I'm boiling it. At the same time, you will put a straw inside the vessel and you will be drinking it. Is it like that? Have you ever drank tea like this? Today, we should try, I think. If you don't understand this, we should try this. It is not possible. Yes, Yusuf, don't think about it. It is not possible, impossible. But when it comes to the service industry, imagine yourself in a saloon. I'm sure all of you at some point of time have gone to a saloon, correct? Is it true that first barber will cut your hair? You will be sitting in one corner. And suddenly, after 45 minutes, suddenly your hair will disappear. He will come and tell you, come sir, your hair have been gone. I will show it to you. And suddenly he will take you to a room and suddenly your hair will go. Does that happen? No. Correct? While he is cutting the hair, same time you are receiving the haircut. So in service industry, while one is giving, the other person is receiving. Same way that is also happening now. See, I'm providing a service, I'm teaching, correct? It's not like first I will teach, suddenly after 45 minutes, all the data, all the knowledge will be transferred to your brain. That is not possible. I'm saying, okay, all the knowledge, I'm transferring it to you on your Google Drive. Suddenly in 30 minutes, you'll get it. It's not like that. While I'm teaching you, same time you are receiving it. So that is what it means by inseparable. That is what I mean by simultaneous. It happens together. Service giving and service receiving happens together. You understand? Consume at the same time. Yes. So V is over, I is over. P is perishable. Perishability means, again, I make a sofa. After making the sofa, completing the work, will the sofa be there or it will disappear? It will be there, correct? Everybody has to answer. Prince, Namir, Namir, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Eunice, Grace. The sofa will be there. Anne, Susan, Bhavya, I think I saw you in an earlier class. Abhi, Bhavya, where did I see you? FM or audit? So the sofa will be there, correct? But when it comes to service, FM, okay. When it comes to service, guys, just 1 second, okay? I'm getting a call. Just give me 1 second. I'm getting the call of a very important minister. Just give me 1 second. What happened to the class when I got the call? Class stopped. So the minute the service provider stops giving the service perishes, it ends, it stops. Do you understand? So that is what I mean by perishability. The service stops as soon as the service provider stops providing the service. Now, please don't ask me silly questions. I was once in a class where the student said, sir, you are manufacturing some cheesecake. You manufacture cheesecake, but then I will eat it. So it will perish. See, you eating it, you drinking it, you dancing with it does not matter. What I'm saying is, the minute I stop making the cheesecake is there. It doesn't disappear. What you do with it does not matter. But when I stop, the cheesecake is there. That is what it is in manufacturing industry. But in a service industry, the minute I got the call from minister, the class perished. That is what perishability is. With variability, inseparability, perishability, N comes no transfer of ownership. All right. No transfer of ownership is what? When you go to buy a sofa in a manufacturing industry, the sofa becomes yours. You become the owner of the sofa. But in a service industry, when you go for a haircut, for example, do you become the owner of the salon? The answer is no. Do you become the owner of the comb or the haircut? The answer is no. Do you become the owner of the scissors? The answer is no. The answer is no. So in a service industry, there is no transfer of ownership. It's just you're receiving a service. Once the service is over, the service perishes. Finally comes intangibility. What do I mean by intangibility? Intangibility means you cannot touch the service. Okay, you cannot touch the service. Again, I get such beautiful answers of people who want to waste time. I get answers like, but sir, I can touch the barber. See, first of all, don't try that. Secondly, I'm not talking about touching the service provider. I'm talking about touching the service. The service itself doesn't have a physical form. You cannot touch the service. You cannot touch my classes. Maybe you can be touched by my classes. That's a different thing, which I hope happens. But you cannot touch the service. The service doesn't have a physical form, it is intangible. Okay. And these are, I don't know who asked, I don't remember who asked this, but whoever asked, these are the service features of the service industry. Okay. I'm moving ahead. Yes, Muhammad Sinan, that is a service. But again, for whatever reason, I wouldn't want to mention it out loud. But yes, that is a service. Life cycle costing, head massage, haircut, all of this is a service. Yes. Anybody has any issues with life cycle costing, with the stages, with maximizing the return over the life, environmental costing, anybody having any problems in any specific topic can ask me to stop and I will stop. Not at all, no problems. Okay. So again, guys, see, this marathon itself is existing for you. Which page, Yusuf? In the textbook? Input, output, which page? Just help me. 130 from the Kaplan book. I think, okay, this one, input, output analysis. Okay, see, first and foremost, uh, again, were you tested on this question, Muhammad Yusuf, in any recent exams? Yes, one MCQ. So guys, please listen carefully. Again, again, when you read it, what does it say? This technique records material inflows and balances this with outflows on the basis of what comes in must go out. For example, if 100 kg of material, I also got one MCQ in recent exam. Okay. If 100 kg of material have been bought and only 80 kg of material have been produced, then the 20 kg difference must be accounted for in some way. It may be, for example, that 10% of it was sold as scrap and 90% of it is waste. By accounting for outputs in this way, both in terms of physical quality and at the end of the process in monetary terms too, businesses are forced to focus on environmental cost. Okay, so maybe you didn't understand that, which is okay. But what do I mean by input output analysis? See, what example can I? Okay, the other day, uh, I had a friend who was squeezing juice out of lemons. Okay. However, it was so much work that at the end of it, I saw a lot of lemons which were not fully drained out, squeezed out. What I mean by this is there was still a lot of juice in a lot of lemons. There was still a lot of lemon in the lemon. You know, there was still a lot of juice in the lemon. It was not fully squeezed. Input-output analysis basically says that you need to be mindful of what you are putting in what is the output. What do I mean by this? Is suppose you put 10 lemons to make lemon juice. This is your input. You've put 10 lemons, but you need to analyze, you need to weigh out of the 10 lemons, when I actually made juice, what was the output? Okay. Were all the lemons fully drained and dried, or was it wasted? Was a lot of lemon wasted? If you give it to a kid, I'm sure a lot of the lemon will be wasted. And this can also possibly happen in business. And that kind of performance is very poor performance. You need to make sure that the output is what? You got lemon juice worth only 8 lemons. Again, this is not literal, but it's just an analogy for you to understand the concept. You got lemon juice only worth 8 lemons, meaning juice worth 2 lemons got wasted, which is not something you want. Input-output analysis says that you need to be mindful of the input. What are you putting in versus the output? You need to be mindful of it. Don't blindly work. For example, as a student, you need to be mindful of the input. How many hours are you sitting to study? And what is the output? You need to be mindful. How many chapters completed? You need to be mindful, because otherwise what will happen is you will be inefficient. You will be wasting. Okay, 2 hours max for each chapter. Otherwise you are wasting. So you need to be mindful of the input versus the output. You need to analyze what output are you getting for the input that you have put. This is input-output analysis. Yusuf, is this clear? You need to be careful. Maximization of resources. Yes, again, when will you maximize resources? And again, when you are mindful of what is your output. Sir, please take advanced variances. Yes, I will go to that. But again, what I want to do is I want to go through to run through the concept. I want to run through the topics in order. And Suzanne, you want environmental costing? Okay, what is environmental costing? We need to be careful, because this is most of the time a theoretical area. Okay, and what is environmental costing is very, very simple. Let me show you something. See, and Suzanne, when it comes to the environment, all right, we should not be polluting the environment. Why? Because the environment will get damaged. I should not be wasting because the environment will get damaged. There is no doubt about it. But what also will happen if for example, if I waste electricity. If I waste electricity, what will happen is the environment is damaged. Correct? There is no doubt about it. But apart from that, what will happen, and Suzanne? Apart from that, I will also get a high electricity bill. And if I am damaging the environment, I could also be having fines and penalties. Environmental costing runs in these lines. What do I mean by this? These are costs that directly impact the statement of profit or loss for the company. There are many different types. For example, you could have, again, if you're generating waste, you could have costs where which you have to bear in order to dispose of the waste. Okay, you might have, again, think about this. You need to have a better process, a better machine in order to make sure that you're not getting penalties, getting fines. Okay, so this is what environmental costing is. Okay, it's a very simple, basic topic. These are costs. Target costing, page number 107. Target costing. Oh God, I'm very upset. Okay, Chris, if you say so. 107, this page, right? Target costing. You want to look at this? Uh, Array steps used in target costing. Shit. Chris, you did self-study or you did in some institute? Anyway, no problem. Yes, okay, good, very good. Self-study. Target costing. What is target costing? Listen carefully. Okay, all of you listen carefully, no problem. Suppose I have a business. I sell what? I sell pens. The cost of each pen is 5 rupees. Now, obviously, I want to make money, so there is profit. How much profit should I keep? How much profit do you think I should keep for myself? Maybe another 3 rupees at least. 3 rupees will be my profit. So, how much will I sell the pen for? What will be the selling price of the pen? The selling price of the pen will be 8 rupees. This is what normally happens, correct? Regular costing. This is how regular costing happens. No doubt about this, right, Chris? You have the cost, you add a profit, and then you get the selling price. No doubt at all. Okay, isn't no doubt, right? You don't need to agree with me. Doubt or no doubt. This is normal costing. You have a cost, you add a profit, you get the selling price. Now, what happens in target costing is target costing people are over smart people. Target costing people are over smart people. What they will do is, first, they will say, Chris is selling the pen for 8 rupees, is it? I will sell the same pen for 7 rupees. So the first thing these people are doing is they will set the selling price. They will speak to all the customers. They will say, okay, others are selling it for 8 rupees. Let me sell it for 7 rupees. So what he is doing, normally 1, 2, 3. These are the steps. First, you will make the product and get the cost. Second, you will add the profit. Based on that, you will get the selling price. But in target costing, your last step becomes the first step. See this, Chris? You will first determine the selling price and you will say, okay, I'll set the selling price at 7 rupees. And you are greedy. You will say, I want the same profit which Chris has. Then you will determine the profit and you will say, okay, Chris is getting a profit of 3. I also want a profit of 3. Then think about it. These people say, okay, I will be selling the pen for 7, in which I want a profit of 3. So I have a target that I should make the pen in how much cost? How much is the cost which I'm targeting? I should make the pen in how much, Chris? Chris, 4. So you're saying I have to target to make the same pen in 4 rupees. This is target costing. In normal costing, you will first determine the cost. You will first determine the cost, add a profit, and then based on that, get the selling price. In target costing, you do the complete opposite. Your last step becomes your first step. First, you will determine the selling price based on whatever the customers have accepted. Based on that, you determine your profit. And finally, the leftover, whatever it is, $4, you have to make sure that your cost is only $4. That is your cost which you are targeting. You are targeting to make the pen in $4, and that's why it is the target cost. Chris, is this okay? Or you want me to go in detail about things like what happens if after that, or this is fine? It's okay if you want me to go after that, also not an issue. But you just wanted this or after this? Okay, detailed. Okay. So what happens here? See, now the target cost is $4. And now you will actually see, okay, I have to make this pen in $4. You will actually see how much are we estimating the cost to be to make the pen actually. See, our target is $4. But actually, how much is the cost if I make it? Oh God, the actual cost is 4.5. See, the estimated cost is 4.5 to actually make it. But we are targeting how much? We are targeting to make the same pen in $4. So there is a gap, Chris. How much is the gap between the target and the estimated cost? 0.5. That is the target cost gap. The target cost gap is $0.5. Now, what the company will do, Chris, is they all will meet. They all will call for a meeting, and they will think of ways to close the gap. For example, somebody will suggest, I can get cheaper labor. For the same thing, I can get cheaper labor. So we will save $0.1 there. Somebody else will say, I can try to get same quality, but cheaper material. Maybe somebody will say, oh, I know a friend, he will give me a discount. Somebody will say, from that pen, can we just remove a little bit of material? Maybe little bit ink if we remove, nobody will know. So if we remove little bit ink, we will save money. So everybody will come in with ideas on how to close the gap. This is how target costing works, Chris. Is this clear? Everybody clear? Crystal clear? All right. Thank you. So let's move ahead. I hope all of you are able to understand. I hope all of you are understanding. Mohammed Yusuf, can you explain DSS, Decision Support System, page 56? Yes. TPS. After that, we have MIS. Then we have Executive Information System, ERPS. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I don't have it in mind. I don't have it. I will explain it directly. I'm just seeing if just give me 1 second. Now see, again, it's not there in my, I've searched it also. It's not there. Okay. I'm using the latest material, so I don't see it. So anyway, from the older materials that I've used, a decision support system. Which material are you using, Mohammed Yusuf? Kaplan, but I mean, which material as in, or which edition? Is it for June 25? Because I'm using June 25. Anyway, by the name itself, we can understand what this system does. This system helps you in making decisions. It provides certain data, it provides certain analysis tools, and it helps you. So this system helps the managers make decisions, right? This system gives you certain information. This system helps managers to make some complex decisions. It provides by providing what? By providing relevant data and tools for analysis. This is a decision support system. Is this clear? Who has made this? Mohammed Yusuf. Yes. Okay. So now, which level of management uses this? Which level do you think uses this? So the both actually, middle, tactical, and senior level managers use the decision support system. But when it comes to TPS, it would be the operational level. Where is TPS? I hope that is okay. TPS is generally used by the operational level. MIS is used by the technical level. We have the executive information system used by the strategic level. Okay, so I hope this is clear. I hope there is no problem. Anybody else? Any issues anywhere? Let me know. I'm just going to maxi max, maxi min, minimax regret. I'll come to. But again, I'm talking about the topics where I am. I mean, from the textbook. Okay, so all this was done, ABC and all that. Okay, you had no problems with this. We moved ahead. We went forward. And then we had to go to environmental costing. We saw relevant costing. I'm coming to. I mean, from the chapters where I am. Okay. So from the chapters where I am, I think now I'm in cost volume profit analysis. If anybody has any problems, cost volume profit analysis, do you have a problem with test your understanding one? Subanjo? Break-even analysis, do you think you have a problem here? Oh, you have a problem here. Okay, so let's do test your understanding one, chapter 5. Again, let me confirm. Subanjo, you want me to do test your understanding one? Okay, fine. Yes, please. Okay, so I will do test your understanding one. The following data relate to product PQ. Selling price is 25, variable cost is 20, fixed cost is 50,000. This is the information. You are asked to calculate the break-even point in units. See, first of all, what is break-even? Break-even is that point where you don't have profit, but you don't have loss also. And tell me one thing, if you are a student of PM, you already know this because you've already done this in MA also, if you've taken MA. So revenue is 100,000. Cost of sales is 20,000. Sorry. Yeah, variable cost of sales is 20,000. So contribution, variable cost is 20,000. So contribution is how much, Subanjo? I'm just checking if you know this basic. Revenue is 100, variable cost is 20. Yes, contribution is 80K. Now, from the contribution, which cost needs to be deducted to get the fixed cost? I've deducted all the costs except which cost? Contribution is like the profit without deducting fixed cost. It is the profit without deducting the fixed cost. This is obviously, please don't put in the exam that it is the profit. Contribution is a contribution, but this is how I make people remember. It is the profit without deducting the fixed cost. So from 80,000, Subanjo, we need to deduct the fixed cost in order to get the profit. And what did I say? Break even is what? Break even is the point where there is no profit, no loss. So I'm going to ignore the fixed cost for now. I'm just going to ignore it. Let it be X. But break-even point is where the profit is 0. There is no profit, no loss. Now tell me, Subanjo, if the contribution is 80,000, how much should the fixed cost be to get a profit of 0? 80,000. It needs to be equal because from the contribution, when we deduct the fixed cost, we get the profit. So that's why break-even takes two ingredients. The break-even formula has two core ingredients. What are the ingredients? Fixed cost and contribution. And that is where the formula of break-even in units comes from. You take these two ingredients. The break-even formula, the break-even point formula is these two ingredients. The break-even point in units is fixed cost divided by contribution for each unit. Why? Because you want the break-even point in units. That's why you're taking the contribution per unit. Contribution per unit, right? Therefore, as per this question, all the information is given to you. See this, it's as simple as throwing it in the vessel. All the ingredients are ready. You just need to throw it in the pan and fry it. Fixed cost is how much? Fixed cost is 50,000. Contribution per unit, you can calculate. Contribution is what? Selling price minus variable cost. If selling price is 25 and variable cost is 20, contribution per unit is $5. So the break-even point in units will be 50,000 divided by 5. How much is 50,000 divided by 5? 10,000. I'm just again cross-checking that because I'm not well, as I said. So I just don't want to make any calculation mistake, right? So the break-even point in unit is 10,000 units. You need to sell 10,000 units in order to get no profit, no loss. So if any friend asks you, how many pens should I make to do break-even? You will say you have to sell at least 10,000 pens to make no profit, but you'll also not have a loss. Minimum 10,000. So the break-even point in units is 10,000. Second part of the question says, calculate the activity level of activity that is required to generate a profit of 40,000. See, this is very easy, okay? Subhanjo, just listen carefully, but you understood break-even point in units, correct? Did you? Yes. Now, let me do the second thing. The second thing is what? How much should you sell? How many units should you sell to get a specific targeted profit? Here, the targeted profit is 40,000. See, again, what I will do is fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. If you do this, you will get the break even. That is no profit, no loss. But if you want a required profit, for example, you want a required profit of 40K, then the formula will be the same, but that required profit has to be added to the fixed cost. So it will be required profit plus fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, meaning required profit is 40,000, fixed cost is 50,000. See this information, fixed cost is 50,000 divided by contribution per unit is 5. Therefore, 90,000 divided by 5 is how much? Is $18,000. Sorry, not $18,000, 18,000 units. So Subhanjo, you know that if you sell 10,000 units, you will make no profit, no loss. But if you want 40,000 profit, you need to sell 18,000 units minimum. Okay, Subhanjo, the question to you is, how much units should I sell to get a profit of 1 lakh or 100,000? Can you do this and tell me, Subhanjo? How much will be the answer? Who can tell me? You have to tell me fast. 30,000. Can I check that? Let me quickly check that. It will be Again, required profit is 100,000. Fixed cost is how much? Fixed cost is 50,000 divided by 5. So 150,000 divided by 5. Very good, Subhanjo. It is 30,000 units. Okay. I hope everybody is comfortable with this. The third part of the question is talking about margin of safety. Now, unfortunately, I'm seeing the strength dropping slowly. The strength has become 15. When I started, it was 25. Okay. Anyway, listen carefully to margin of safety. What margin of safety is? Margin of safety is very simple. Well, suppose after the exam, okay, Subhanjo, you estimate marks of how much? You estimate 55 marks. How much is the pass mark? 50 marks. So Subhanjo, suppose the examiner does a very strict correction. How much level of safety do you have? How many marks safe are you? I mean, pass mark is 50, you are estimating 55. Suppose examiner is in a bad mood. Max to max, how many marks can be deducted before you are unsafe? Before you fall in trouble, how many marks can be deducted max? How much safety net do you have? How many marks can you fall by? Subhanjo again. 6. Yeah, I would say 5, because the minute you fall by 6 marks, you fail. So you have a safety net. You can say you have a safety threshold of about 5 marks. But suppose I write the exam, Subhanjo. I expect 94%. Pass mark is 50. So I have a safe. Now, why do I say, obviously, I'm not writing the exam. I completed the exam long back. But I'm just saying, I'm giving you an example because I've taught so many students now. If I write the exam, I'll get 95, I feel. Pass mark is 50. So how much safety threshold do I have? I have the safety threshold of how many marks, Banju? 44 marks. So I have a safety, a margin, a net, a threshold. That safety threshold is margin of safety. I have the safety of threshold of 44 marks, but you have a very small margin of safety, meaning that if the examiner is in a bad mood, if it starts raining in his place and he's in a bad mood, max to max, you can fall by 5 marks. If you fall more than that, you are in trouble. If you've understood this analogy, Subhanju, you will understand margin of safety. Estimated marks becomes estimated sales or budgeted sales. Suppose you budget or you estimate sales of how much? You budgeted sales of 20,000 units. Your pass mark can be the same as the break-even sales because that is how much you need to do to get no profit, no loss. Break-even is like your pass mark, or pass mark is like your break-even. It is that point where you pass in business. No profit, no loss. In my example, in this test, you're understanding one, break-even point was how many units, Subhanjo? Do you remember? We just calculated. How many units was the break-even point? In this example, what was it? Do you recollect? It's no, it was not, Namir, not 18,000. 18,000 was for a profit of 40,000. Very good, Subhan. The break-even sales was 10,000 units, meaning that I'm estimating sales of 20,000 units. my pass mark or my break-even sales is 10,000. So I have a margin of safety of 10,000 units. So margin of safety is nothing but break-even sales. It's like your estimated marks minus budget. Sorry, margin of safety is budgeted sales, which is like your estimated marks, minus the break-even sales, which is like your pass mark. So in this case, margin of safety is 20,000 is your estimated or budgeted sales. But your break-even point or your pass point is 10,000. So you have a safety of 10,000 units. What do I mean by margin of safety? Margin of safety is 10,000 units is the margin of safety, meaning you are safe by 10,000 units, meaning even if you fall by 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, you are still safe. This can also be denoted in the terms of percentage, where it will simply be budgeted sales minus break-even sales divided by budgeted sales into 100. It can also be denoted as a percentage. All right. So this is what? This is margin of safety. So Subhanju, I hope you are clear. Okay. Dell, yes, I will try, but I am going by what you people are telling me. So based on the requests, based on, I mean, I'm not choosing anything based on my choice, based on your choices, based on your preferences. If you tell me to do a difficult question, if you tell me, sir, in this chapter, I want you to do question number, I don't know, question number 4, I will do that. You have to speak, I will do it. So it is a marathon where as you speak, I will do that. Okay, so whoever speaks, whoever asks for something, I will do it for them. So Subhanjo has asked for test your understanding 1, and that's why I'm doing this. Okay, if you find something difficult, others may not find it difficult, you might find it hard. Subhanjo finds this hard, so for her, this is a difficult question. So based on your difficulty, you are free to let me know, I will do it. Okay, Subhanjo, clear? Any problems? Subhanjo, for sure, no problems at all. Okay, anything further? Are you clear with CS ratio? Do you know what CS ratio is? And break-even point in CS ratio, linear programming graph, I love it, Hasham. How many of you want help with linear programming? Let me know. CVP graph, multi-product break-even, contribution. No, Subhanju, I'm asking, do you want me to do CS ratio, the basics? It's just contribution by sales. Or are you comfortable with it? E and F. Are you comfortable or do you want me to do? I understand. Okay. How many of you want linear programming to be done? I'm just trying to assess. I'll not go to linear programming because I'm going in the textbooks order. So I'm still in the 5th chapter. I think linear programming, oh, maybe it is the next chapter. Let's do linear programming. Okay. But, oh no. Next chapter is on, yes, it is on linear programming, which a lot of people struggle with. Mohammed Yusuf and Dell want to do weighted average CS ratio and multi-product break-even or CVP graph. And 2 people want me to do linear programming. And then move to relevant costing. Okay, because as of now, I have demand for linear programming. Majority looks like linear programming. I will do linear and then come back to these topics. Which topics? I will come back to multi-product break-even graph, and I will come back to weighted average CS ratio. Okay, so I will do that. Just give me a minute. also, guys, I just wanted to let you know one thing. Based on demand, I have been getting a lot of demand from PM students, particularly, and I got for sorry FM students who were asking for one more session of the marathon. Like you all know that the marathon is 8 hours, so 4 hours on one day, 4 hours on the other day. But there was demand for a marathon for one more day, right? So 3 sessions. So if there is any such demand, let me know. I can see if we can schedule, because from what I'm understanding, again, Dell, you feel that a certain topic is easy, but that's why I said, right? Uh, I also feel a lot of these topics are very simple, but then there is demand. So if any of you feel that you want to have one more marathon session, we can keep that. But today I am going to move to linear programming, which is a very, 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 very easy topic, frankly speaking. Again, quickly, guys, let me know how many of you have a problem with linear programming. If you have to rate your understanding as of now on a scale of 1 to 5 for linear programming, 5 means you are very confident with linear programming, 0 means you don't know anything. Rate your understanding for linear programming. Kshitij is 5, Namir is 5, Yusuf is 5, Hasham is 5, Yusuf is 40 is 3. So in the next few minutes, I will challenge you that we all will be 5 out of 5. Kshitij is 5, which is good. Kshitij, again, if you are completely